I think it is very important to get the big picture right. So, what is the big picture on tech startups? I think in 10 years, we will see as many trillion-dollar companies as we are seeing billion-dollar companies today. There are several thousand of them. There are several thousand unicorns on the planet today. Billion-dollar companies. What I'm seeing is in 10 years, we'll see that many trillion with a T like in Texas. We'll see that many trillion-dollar companies in 10 years. Why is that? AI and robotics. The exponential curve of AI and robotics will give us thousands of trillion-dollar companies in 10 years. Elon Musk has said that there will be no more currency. What does he mean by that? Well, with AI and robotics, we will be able to produce much more. The productivity gains will be massive. So when that happens, at first you see deflation because there is so much more production, the prices go down. We will see deflation. That's the first stage. But if the production keeps going up to the point where everybody on the planet can have every product and service they want. When that happens, money disappears because money has no more value at that point. If the productivity gains are so massive due to AI and robotics, it is Elon Musk's prediction that money will disappear. There will be no more currency. No more dollars, no more euros, yens, rupees, what have you. And that is not hard to understand. We are about to move from scarcity economics to abundance economics, which is a fundamentally different paradigm. So that is the big picture. That in 10 years we'll see as many trillion-dollar companies as we see billion-dollar companies today. And I'm not just talking about the US market, I'm talking about the global market. We will see as many trillion-dollar companies in 10 years as we see billion-dollar companies today. That is the big picture. So, let's say we will see 1,000 of them, 1,000 trillion-dollar companies in 10 years. Right now we have, I think, less than 10. Some of those companies that will have hit $1 trillion valuation in 10 years have already been born. In fact, quite a big chunk have already been born. But do they know it? I doubt that. I doubt that companies that are already up and running today that will go on to become trillion-dollar companies in 10 years know it today. It's too big a leap. It's like when Steve Jobs came back to Apple, which was almost a dead company when he came back. And then he breathed new life into Apple, right? New iMacs, iPod, and then when the iPhone hit the market, within years, Apple's market valuation had shot up to something like $200 billion. Steve Jobs couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe it. That was too big a number for him. And that is Steve Jobs. So I'm projecting there are companies today, tens of them, dozens of them, maybe even 100 of them, that will go on to become trillion-dollar companies in 10 years. But do they know that now? No, they don't. When the two Google founders, these scholarship students at Stanford, when they built the search engine, Google, their first thought was Yahoo was the big gorilla in town and they were going to sell that search engine to Yahoo, make, I don't know, $5 million and retire early. That was the dream scenario for them. This is after they had built the search engine. Well, Yahoo refused, saying we already have our search engine. Why would you buy yours? Well, they tried a few more times with a few other companies like Infosec, Lycos, all those other guys. And they also refused, saying your search engine is too fast. Our whole business model is to get people to come to our website and stay there for as long as possible. That is how we make money. Why would you buy your search engine that seems to be this super fast search engine? People will use it and they will be gone. And our business will collapse. So no, we don't want to buy your search engine. The two Google guys could not see the massive company that we see today. When they built the search engine, they could not see the Google of today. That is in trillions of dollars in value. They could not see $1 billion company. They could not see $100 billion company when they first built the search engine. I think there are dozens upon dozens of companies that are already up and running today that will go on to become trillion-dollar companies in 10 years, but they don't know it yet. The founders and the founding teams and the investors, they don't see that. They're going to complain when it happens, but right now they're not seeing it. And so, I am offering what I call the Grand Solara Vision as a product. I have built one for my own company, Himalayan Compute. It's in the form of a book, about 200 pages, called Himalayan Compute, Grand Solara Vision. What is a Solara? Just like $1 billion company is called a unicorn, a $1 trillion company is called a Solara. I coined that term. And I hope the industry picks it up, because nobody else has come up with a name for $1 trillion companies. I have. And I hope the industry picks it up. So, Grand Solara Vision is projecting a company to a $1 trillion valuation, saying this is a future $1 trillion company and this is how it will get there. My big gripe with Y Combinator is they are wedded to what I call the Columbus way. You get on a ship, you're trying to go to India, but it doesn't matter where you end up. It's hit and miss. I'm not a big fan of that, and I don't think it is that relevant today. With the capabilities that we have today, I think a tech startup, a Solara, a future trillion-dollar company should be built the way Neil Armstrong went to the moon and not the way Christopher Columbus went to India. He never made it. Imagine Neil Armstrong picking a random vehicle like, say, a helicopter or a jumbo jet or maybe even a rocket and hoping to maybe get to the moon. Would that work? That would never work, right? When you're trying to go to the moon, you need to get everything right at the very first step. You need to have thought every little detail all the way to the moon and back, even before you take off. And you need the right vehicle. You can never go to the moon in a jumbo jet. You can never go to the moon in a helicopter or a drone or what have you. You need a rocket. You need the right vehicle. And every minute of the journey is calculated before the rocket ever even takes off. I think this trillion-dollar company that we'll see in 10 years will have to go the Neil Armstrong way. The Columbus way is not going to work. And the first step in that journey is what I call the grand Solara vision for your company. My company has one. And I'm trying to build, a group of companies that will jump on the boat and think they too are going to be future trillion-dollar companies. Like I said, the starting point of that journey is the grand Solara vision. What is the grand Solara vision? The grand Solara vision projects that your company will attain a trillion-dollar valuation in 10-15 years, and the vision also makes the best possible guess as to how it will get there. But unlike a journey to the moon, which is static, the moon doesn't change and the space between Earth and moon doesn't change, right? So it's static. But technology is nothing like that. There are 10 or more internet-sized technologies, as in massive technologies, all exploding and intersecting with each other. Their permutations and combinations are hard, if not impossible, to predict as to how exactly things will play out when they intersect, right? So unlike going to the moon, which is a static reality, creating a grand Solara vision for a company is a highly dynamic endeavor. As in, the right way to do it would be where you create a grand Solara vision at least once every year until you get there. And so I've offered privately, publicly, on Twitter mostly, when I come across a company that I think has great potential, I tend to make the offer to the founder like, hey, how would you like to hire me to create a grand Solara vision for you? I've made that offer multiple times. When I see a promising company, I tend to make that offer. Not only that, but I think pretty much every tech startup that has managed to attain product market fit and is on that graph of exponential growth, no matter how small the revenue at the moment, I think every such company can hope to achieve unicorn status. And I've explained that in my book called Marketing Scape Velocity. It's available on Amazon. It requires respecting marketing. I think too many founders think your product is good enough, you don't need marketing. I think that is such a disservice and such a misunderstanding of what marketing is in the first place. Without marketing, you are flying blind. You are likely to lose your way and probably just go out of business down the line without achieving unicorn status. Whereas I think every tech startup that has managed to attain product market fit and is on that exponential graph of rapidly growing user base, every such company can hope to achieve unicorn status by respecting marketing. And like I said, I've explained that in a book that is available on Amazon. The book is called Marketing Scape Velocity. That's for $1 billion valuation. I think dozens, hundreds of companies qualify for that. And when I come across a company, mostly on Twitter, and a founder that I find very promising, they're doing interesting work and it has a lot of oomph, a lot of potential, I tend to Twitter them or send them a direct message saying, hey, how would you like to hire me to create a grand Solara vision for your company? I've been doing that. I did that, I think yesterday or the day before that. I've done that often. When I project my company's roadmap, it is obvious to me that a key factor to its success is going to be building the right team, putting together the right team. And when I look around, I find the existing tools highly disappointing, to the point that I have decided that I'm going to build my own tool that will allow me to grab the best of the best talent all over the world. Not only to grab them, but also to gel them. I have conceptualized it, and I think it is going to be like AWS. When Amazon built AWS, as in Amazon Web Services, it was meant to meet Amazon's internal needs. It was not meant for everybody else. But after they built it, they realized there's overcapacity, as in what they have built. Of course, they will use it internally, but they can also sell to others. And it has been a hit product. Huge margins, huge revenues. And I think I might have come across something similar in that the tool that I'm going to build that will help me build a great team for my tech startup, I might want to spin that out and help others do the same. In fact, I'm of mind that Only companies that have a clear roadmap and ambition to attain $1 trillion valuation will even be allowed to come on board. Of course, it's a business. They'll pay for it, but it might not be open to anybody and everybody, because Solaras are different. Their needs are different, and I might build this to cater to the future Solaras. So that is something that I've thought about.